Hello everybody, this is John. Welcome to the Ag Weather Outlook for June 3rd, 2017. I thought I'd start today's briefing by taking a look at the last month, May. Here's the total amount of precipitation. Areas in red received over 5 inches of rain. Areas in yellow over 2 inches. And if you look closer, you'll even see some purple. That's near 10. So parts of eastern Missouri, parts of Illinois, large part of Indiana, large part of Ohio, scattered areas of Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas received some pretty good soaking rain in May. Now, if we go further to the north, look at the Dakotas, much less than an inch, and also some scattered areas of northern Missouri and scattered areas of Iowa, less than 3 inches. But overall, not bad as far as rainfall for the month of May for most areas. Now, the areas that received a surplus of rain are indicated in green and blue for the month of May. Areas that received a deficit and need more rain are in yellow. So take a look at that northern Missouri, southeast Iowa, smaller scattered areas of Illinois, and most of North and South Dakota and western Minnesota. Those are areas, as well as Michigan, that need more precipitation. Now, if we look at temperature for the month of May here, you can see, generally speaking, we're a little bit below normal, and with all the rain, that would be expected. Green is a little bit below normal. Dark green and blue is more significantly below normal. But overall, I think you take a look at that, it's averaging fairly close to normal. Now, the more recent period here, you look at this, you say it's not that much different, but if you do look at this, you see some more yellow, and that's indicating that the average temperatures over the last week are beginning to warm up. We're getting a bit above normal. That's an indication of yellow. So May averaged a little bit below normal, and now we're warming up a little bit above normal. As far as precipitation last week, a much quieter week. Not much rain at all over most of the U.S. Corn Belt. Pretty quiet week. So when we look at soil moisture, we see that the spring rainfall has resulted in near or above normal soil moisture over most areas. In a few areas, not too many, we still have excess soil moisture. And then in some areas, North and South Dakota really stand out in needing more rain with very dry soils. So let's get into the forecast. This is the 5-day jet stream anomaly. And if you're a regular listener, you know by now that I've watched the mean position of troughs, or areas of lower than normal pressure and further south jet stream, are the jet stream pushing north. And what's really going to dominate our weather is just pushing north of the jet stream. I've indicated that in that dashed purple line. But note that it's west of most of the Corn Belt as we average out the first 5 days. So what we see here is, as we get into the middle, into the latter part of the week, the eastern Corn Belt near normal temperatures, the west-northwest Corn Belt, the northwest Corn Belt above normal. So those hot temperatures, along with the very dry soils, is going to aggravate the dry conditions over the far upper Midwest this week. Now, if you look at the precipitation over the next 7 days, it's going to be another very quiet week. So it's sort of interesting. We started out with a lot of action, and we really have not had that much, either severe weather or strong systems, after we went through that very active period in the middle part of May. It's really quieted down here. So here's the next 7 days, very quiet. Now, if we get into the June 8th through 13th here, what we see is, look at that dashed purple line. The ridge of high pressure, not quite as strong, but it hasn't changed a whole lot. So we're looking at, once again, the eastern Corn Belt fairly close to normal temperatures, but then again in the Dakotas, now into parts of Kansas and Nebraska, and even into parts of Minnesota and pushing into Iowa, above normal temperatures. Then as we get into the 11 to 15 day range, that ridge of high pressure sort of breaks down right now. There's some hint of it still over the Midwest. So what we're looking at is modestly above normal temperatures over just about everywhere. But if you look at the actual degrees above normal, it's not excessive. So temperatures, big difference between the west and the east, and the northwest and the east. Dakotas look like it's going to stay very hot. And then as we get into the eastern Corn Belt, much more moderate temperatures. Now, as far as precipitation goes, like I said, this week, look at all that yellow. Very quiet week. Little or any significant rainfall over a majority of the Corn Belt. And really not too much difference as we get into week 2. It's not quite a strong dry signal, but overall pretty quiet. So we're looking at, as we get into the first half of June, a very quiet type pattern, at least right now. So what you might expect here is over the next 10 days, you see this area of brown and even dark brown. That's saying soils will be drying over the next couple of weeks, and in some cases significant drying. So perhaps by next weekend, the discussion I'll be having is not so much excessively wet, but maybe talking a little bit more about getting excessively dry over the upper Midwest and definitely a drying out over many other areas. So that's just this week's briefing for you. Hope you all have a nice week. It should be a great week to get out and do a lot of field work just about every day. I don't see any much significant downtime. There will be some here and there. There will be some scattered precipitation, but overall it looks like a pretty good period. Hope you all have a great week. If you have any questions, you can always email me. Take care.